Hey guys, so here's my story. Recently, I purchased a Raspberry Pi Zero 2W and was having fun with it. One day, I started to wonder how this tiny little single board computer performs compared to Apple's Mac Mini with the blazing fast M1 chip. After all, they essentially have the same form factor, right? I mean, they're both bare-bone computers where I need to connect my keyboard, mouse, and monitor. So here is how they compare on paper. Raspberry Pi Zero 2 costs only $15 and comes with a quad-core ARM chip clocked at 1 GHz and with 512 megabytes of LPDDR2 memory and uses a slow SD card for storage. On the other hand, Apple's baseline M1 Mac Mini costs whopping $700, comes with blazing fast 8-core M1 chip clocked at 3.2 GHz and 8 gigs of LPDDR4 memory and with SSD storage. As we can expect from this table, Raspberry Pi Zero 2 is not a match for the powerful M1 chip. On the Geekbench 5 test, the Raspberry Pi Zero 2 is crushed by the M1 chip with 20 times slower performance on single core and 60 times slower performance on the multi-core. Okay, fair enough. But then I got to wonder, what if I run the same benchmark task but use a slower language on the M1 chip? So I searched for TOB index, and as of September 2022, the top two programming languages are Python and C. Well, this is perfect because Python is known to be much slower than C, but will it be slow enough to cripple M1 into Raspberry Pi Zero 2? Well, let's find that out. Alright, so here we have a split terminal where on top I have the M1 Mac and on the bottom I have the Raspberry Pi Zero 2. I found this cool website with several programs written in various languages. Let me start off with N-Body Test since I like its name. I'll grab the first C and Python code that I see in the list. Here's the C code. That seems to be a single-threaded program. So I'll copy this code over and compile on the Raspberry Pi 2.0. Next, I'll grab the Python version as well, making sure this is also the single-threaded version to be fair. Okay, so I'll copy over this to the Mac and run both with the exact same parameter. Here's the result. This slow Raspberry Pi ran its C implementation in just shy of 1 minute, while the super fast M1 Mac ran the same benchmark written in Python in 3 minutes and 45 seconds. That's about 4 times slower. Oh, by the way, I didn't overclock my Raspberry Pi. It's running at the stock frequency of 1 GHz as you can see. Maybe this benchmark program is a particularly hard one for Python. Let me try a different one, say Fasta. Again, single-threaded C implementation on the Raspberry Pi, and I'm gonna run a single-threaded Python version on the M1 chip. This time, Raspberry Pi finished in 12 seconds, while M1 Mac took 26 seconds, more than twice slower. Let me try to do one last time, this time multi-core. The Raspberry Pi has 4 cores while the M1 has 8 cores, so this test should be more favorable to the M1. Again, copy the first code I see onto the Raspberry Pi and the Python code onto the Mac. Oh, this time the results are closer. The Raspberry Pi ran in 49 seconds and the M1 Mac ran in 59 seconds, but again, still the Raspberry Pi is the winner. Well, what's my takeaway here? Never use Raspberry Pi for Python development. Who knows how long it's gonna take to run the Python version on the Raspberry Pi. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed the video and I'll see you next time.